It is This Old House Part 2. It's actually a week later that I've been here. Yeah, last Sunday I think. Today is Saturday, Cinco de Mayo. Last Sunday I brought Bob and Sandy to this house. We started out here. Today I have brought Mr. Mike Dugan. I don't know how well he's done yet. This is actually the yard I found all these morel mushrooms in. The reason we came back here is because the yard was mowed this last week, and now we can swing. This is all ground cover ivy. Real hard to swing in, especially if it's tall. Dug several pennies already, I think 4 or 5. A little bit of canned slaw. This is really about the only unique find I've found so far. I'll zoom in on that. I think it's just it's probably junk jewelry. It's got a brass back. That's what's going off on it. The brass looks old, and there was another piece that came with it, and there's still some possibly still in the hole here. I'm not sure if it's worth chasing, but I'm going to go pretty slow in this area. Next plug coming up. Still working it. Mike's just about ready to disappear behind that tree. Coming down the yard this way, a couple of canned slaws, a few pennies. Just seems like I'm picking up where I left off last time I was here and just collecting pennies. I must have got 30 pennies out of this side of the yard. Of course, I was only able to work from about here over because all of this was real tall ground cover ivy like this right here. Real hard to swing in. Also, the place I found mushrooms at, I don't know if you can see that or not, but there is, right there is a mushroom coming up. It's the only one I found so far on this side of the, oh, there's another one over there. Right, let's see if I can see it. Right in there someplace. Right in there's another mushroom. I may pick a few. Had a real deep brass signal here. I am using the AT Max. I'm gonna go ahead and turn this off. AT Max going in 0 mode. I've run my discrimination up all the way to 40, only because there is so much iron, a lot of iron in this yard, so I'm trying to just pick out the high tones. I've got a good medium high tone here, and it was pretty deep. It's filled in a little bit, but that was about 6 inches deep. What I've got here is an old brass buckle. Looks like it had some gold gilt on it at one point, especially if you turn it over you can see it. I don't know if you can see that shining there or not in the sun. Maybe a little bit. Wire going across for the tongue. Looks like it's been used to at least hold on something. It is brass, I can tell by the patina on it. Beats pennies. I was watching Mike dig a little brassy signal right at the base of that hill over there, or that tree, and turns out that he dug up a oh gosh, don't tell me, a friction primer for a lighter to make the spark. It's a little round brass thing. I thought it was a rivet at first, and I said, well, keep digging, you'll probably find the lighter. I've been working my way back up through here, and I think I found his lighter. Thought I had silver there at first, digging a really nice signal. Nope, it's got its friction primer right there. That's what he dug just a little while ago, is that little piece right here on the end, this little thing. But this looks like the inside of a Bic. It's not the complete lighter, it's just the inside part. Maybe the rest of it's still laying around here. I'll check the hole here in a minute. Maybe the rest of it's still here. I'm really hoping I just broke my spell of digging copper and zinc pennies. Well, I just dug another copper penny, but at least it's not modern clad. It was down underneath this root quite a ways. I thought, well, gosh, if it comes out of there and it is a penny, it's got to be something good, and it is. Finally got me a weedy. Finally got a weedy. 1944. I'm on the board with a 44. Barky dogs. I don't know if you can see it or not, but I've got sticks sticking up out of the ground. all over the place. A couple back there, a couple through here, all through there, another one right there. What I'm doing is I'm marking the morels that are sticking up out of this yard so I don't step on them. I don't eat them. I know JP will come by sometime today. He might join us at our second permission later this afternoon, but I was just letting him know that there's a bunch here, so I was marking them all with a stick. I'm at a kind of a little predicament. I'm getting a really good brass signal at one of my sticks. There's a mushroom right here growing up, so I'm trying to decide whether or not I'm going to dig it yet or not. I may just make a little reminder. Got a little African violet there, mushroom and a stick right off the edge of this tree. So I'll come back to that after JP picks that. Next plug coming up. Could be right over there, could be over there. They're everywhere, everywhere. I've got to watch myself. I had to put the shovel down there, put another stick beside this one. This one was hiding behind these little leaves. I didn't see it earlier. Put my shovel there so I won't hit it. Working along this rock wall. Some of it's fairly old, some of it's fairly new. Back around the corner back here where it kind of bends around the corner, some of that is new. I've got a good 81, 82 signal here. I thought I had a silver dime, but it turned out it was just going to be a root. But right next to it, I think I got a Tootsie. I'm getting a Tootsie car out of here. Yes, indeedy. That's a fire truck, I think. That's my first fire truck or fuel truck. Looks like a fuel truck. Still got all the tires. Definitely a Tootsie. I will get that cleaned up for you and let you see that here in just a little bit. I like that a lot. I just no more than just pop this plug, and then I get a hey from Mike. He says he thinks he's got a Civil War bullet, which I think is cool. I told him earlier, I said there's a good possibility we could dig one of those, because we are right in the middle of a skirmish battlefield site. Won't go into too much more information than that, but I did tell him the possibility was there. And we're going to go over here and look and see if it...
I might be wrong, but that's sure.
Way to go, bud.
About 6 inches down, man.
Look at that. That's a big 69.
Wow.
That's your first?
Yes, sir.
First 3-ringer?
Yes, sir.
Wow.
Well, I found one.
That's a 69.
Down by Neosho, but it wasn't as big as this.
Well, I told you the possibility was here.
Wow. Wow.
It's the first one out of this yard.
That made the day worth it.
Yeah, it did. That's cool. That is truly cool. And also being your first one is a 69.
Yes, sir.
There's more here.
Wow. Yeah, buddy.
Word for the day is wow.
That made it worth it.
Yeah, it did. Just called Mike over to look at this. I was digging a scratchy signal. I wasn't sure what I had. It was scratchy enough for me to think that it was iron, and this is what I saw when I dug out the hole. But the thing is, when I flip it over, there's a gold bracelet.
Wow.
I don't know if that's real gold or not. I haven't, of course, you guys are seeing it this first time. I am too, so I'll look on it for any kind of marks, but that was pretty interesting for me to see that. Thank you very much. Nope, I'm going to say it's not gold. Doesn't have very, well, it's got a little weight to it, but not much. We'll see if there's any markings on that, and you'll see that just about now. But that was pretty interesting to flip that over and find that on the bottom of a can, or whatever that is. Not a 3-ringer though, is it? Alright, next plug coming up. Breeze has picked up a little bit. Guess who showed up? That's Chloe. JP is over there picking mushrooms, all the ones that I marked for him. We're about ready to head to lunch. After that, we're going to decide whether or not we're coming back here or we're going to go to our other spots. I'm going to do a wrap up. I think I think Mike's the winner today, at least so far. At least at this, that's all my trash. Looks like I found most of a dead horse. A lot of horseshoes, a lot of iron, bottle caps, barrette, can slaw, part of a lipstick case. And you saw that, part of the Zippo insert. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 pennies. At least I picked up where I left off last time I was here. I didn't dig nearly as many this time. Actually, I probably walked past a few. Now that I've got a real good idea of what those sound like, I just got tired of bending over and picking those up. It's going to be a long day. Semi-precious trash. Really kind of costume jewelry. You saw this buckle earlier. Still don't know what it's for. It might have some writing on it over here. I'm not sure. Tootsie gas truck, all wheels still intact, and the gold chain. Actually, it's probably aluminum. I believe it says something young right there inside the clasp, missing the other end. And my find of the day so far, 1944 wheat penny, and that is it. Lunch. Next plug coming up. JP has donned his digging apparel. Chloe's running around here someplace. Right underneath the swing over there you can see Mike. I think we're all going to have fun here on this little stretch of property. I've been just walking. Actually, I was headed to the other side of the house and just coming through the front yard. I found a cinch buckle over in this area last time, so I thought I would come through here pretty slow. I got a, I'm zooming back in here. I thought it was a brassy signal. It still may be. I pulled this square nail out. Definitely a square nail. Still in pretty good shape for what it is. But down here in the hole, I don't know if you can see this or not, there's something round right here, and it's got a little piece coming off the side of it. Some of it looks like iron, some of it right here like this looks a little bit like brass. So I'm going to pull this out and we'll just look at it together and figure it out. You know, I think it's part of maybe a pony bit. Looks like got that bit part to it. No brass. Just a nice round thing, round iron. Boy, that sounds good. Always sounds good. Headed to the other side of the yard. Zoomed in on Mike. He's over there behind that rock wall, trying to find him something. Sure he will. It's an old rock wall. I made it to the other side of the house finally. The breeze has picked up, which is really nice because I don't have any shade except right out here in front of me to work in. So I'm going real slow. Still got the small coil on. A lot of iron in this ground. Right here I dug a plug and I dug out this gear. Closed it up and was getting another signal off to the right over here. And I'll throw that in there. And I do have something brass. I just don't know what it is. I don't know if you can see it with this light or not. It's right here. If you can see that or not. I'm going to go ahead and pull it out. We'll see what we got. Could be nothing. Could be something. Looks like it might be part of a it might even have some writing on it right up there. I tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to get it cleaned up. It's brass. Could be part of a buckle, maybe a trouser buckle or something like that. Get you up to date here. I am using the small coil AT Max. I am running in 0 mode. I've got my iron discrimination all the way up to 40. It goes up to 44, but I round it off. Sensitivity all the way up. Using the small coil. Looks like I might have my backlight on and I need to turn that off. There we go. I wanted to get this documented because I don't know what I have. I know it's brass and it's square and it's got some raised, looks like maybe has some raised lettering on the top of it, so I don't want to get my hopes up too much and find out it's just a label for a tractor. But that's it right there. You can kind of see it. There's some raised lettering right there. Or I'm not sure what that is. It might be a keyhole. It's in there pretty tight, so I will dig the hole out a little bit more and we will get back to you. Alright, Mike's here with me just to verify it. I thought it for sure like I had maybe a sword belt plate, but I don't. I've just now popped it loose, so I figured let's all look at it together. I'm going to zoom in on it here a little bit. It's not very big. It does have an opening right there. And let's see if there's one on this side. There is not. Ooh, hey, that's a keyhole right there. Right there. Ah, look at that. That's a little old lever thingy-majig. How about that? I like it.
That's a keeper.
Yeah, it is. That's a keeper. Next plug. Working along. Haven't dug a whole lot. Got a really good signal here. Thought I had a coin, but it is a Missouri tax token. Probably one of the better ones I've ever dug. It's drying out. Now it's started. You can't see anything, but when it was a little damp, you could see it really well. Missouri tax token. I don't know how many more holes we got left in us. This one, boy, I had to go deep for it. It's probably 6 inches deep, and there's a root that runs right through here. So I had to go under for it. It paid off. I don't have it cleaned up yet. It does have writing on it, some kind of fancy. Maybe this will have a date, but there's a suspender or some type of clip. I'll get that cleaned up. See, show you a picture of it here in just a second. JP's on his way out. I think we will be too here shortly. I remember going through some pictures of this old house, and I remember seeing in this spot there used to be a couple of Model A's sitting in this area, even some horse and buggies from earlier pictures. So I thought this might be kind of like the parking lot. I came over, a lot of trash, got to weed through a bunch of stuff, and also a lot of Civil War history in this area. And I dug me a round ball. Looks like maybe a 36 caliber, been fired. Kind of nicked it a little bit, but got my first lead for the day. I think you'll probably fit really well right there. Hope you don't fall over. Stick with me. Don't go away. Oh, whoa, whoa, whoa. Okay. Sorry about the surroundings. This is my inner office, my inner sanctum, command central, if you will, at my my business. It's my little place to get away. Thanks for watching that latest video. That was a fun time. I really enjoyed that. We're looking forward to going back. What this is what I would say is a bonus hunt. I'll tell you up front, I apologize. There's no video with this hunt. There'll be a few pictures, cool pictures. So stick with me. I'm a little wordy. I'll try to keep it as short as possible. Let's get into it. Itchy nose. This last Thursday, May 3rd, I received a call from my neighbor. She asked me if I'd be willing to help out an older friend of hers, an older lady. She asked if I could help her possibly locate some coins in her woods out behind her house. I said I'd love to. Let me check my schedule. Monday was about the only time I had, so Monday rolls around. My wife and I and the neighbor, we load up, take about an hour road trip to a small town. Then just outside of town there's an 80-acre property this lady has, well off the road. I met her. We had some small talk. I was getting ready, and as I was getting ready I asked her if I could videotape this hunt, and she said she didn't really have a problem with it, but she'd prefer if I hold off to do it a little later. I felt the reservation in her voice, so I said, well, I'll just leave the camera and my phone in the truck. And as we headed out, we were walking down the hill. She handed my wife a 5-gallon bucket, and she asked her to carry it. And I said, are we going to be doing some mushroom hunting while we're out? She said, I really hope we find a bunch of coins. Not sure what to think. And only knowing just what my neighbor had told me, I asked her for her side of the story about how the coins were found and how they came to be found in her woods. I was told about 8 years ago she had just lost her husband, and not long after her husband's death, she took in or fostered a girl, teenage girl, part-time. Now her theory here is that the girl, just before she left to move to another state to live with relatives, she came back and broke in and stole her husband's coin collection along with several other valuables. The coin collection was passed down to her husband from his father. They consisted of gold coins, IHPs, silver coins, large copper coins, foreign coins. I think out of all of that I heard gold coins. So we're going to fast forward to present day, or at least last Thursday present day. That was the day she allowed some friends to do some mushroom hunting down below her house. Later that day they came back to show her what they had found, and included in those mushrooms was what was left of some mylar coin sleeves. Those are the little squares that you can see the coin through on both sides. It's plastic, got cardboard around it. Cardboard was long gone. There were still some coins left in that mylar plastic, stapled. And so I guess this is where I come in. We were headed down the hill. Wife had bucket in hand. She was kind of giving us an idea where she thought they might be, so we were going to pick a line from the house to where we thought they might be and just go on that line. Well, that seemed to work out, because as soon as we got into the woods, I turned the detector on, thought I would detect behind them as she was leading the way. Not more than 15 feet, 20 feet inside the woods, I get a hit. Kick the leaves back, and laying there on the ground is a large copper coin. At least at that time I thought it was copper. I believe it turned out to be bronze. It was a British halfpenny, 1890s I think. I didn't look at it very long. We just threw it in the bucket. Just a few feet further, another larger hit. I kicked the leaves back, and there's a small coin spill of some foreign coins. Not taking much time to look at those either. We just threw them in the bucket and kept going. Well, this happened for about the next 100 yards or so, and I was trying to cover as much ground as I could as we were walking through the woods. As we were walking, we all guessed that, possibly there was a hole in the bag. It was the reason for the trail of money. The woods were full of ticks. It was already getting hot. We got a couple of more hits here and there. I worked around the area as much as I possibly could, and then we kept walking a little bit further, and just before we got to the creek, I got a really large hit. I didn't even have to kick the leaves back, and there was a larger pile of coins with a plastic bag not too far away. So after about an hour or so, at least it felt like an hour or so, of searching that particular area and feeling that we've got most of the coins in that area, I asked her if we could suspend the hunt, and I'd be happy to come back this fall, or after a good frost and the foliage and the ticks are dead. She agreed. As we walked back to the house, she then proceeded to tell me of a couple other homesteads on her property. And yes, of course, I asked if I could hunt those when I returned. She said yes, of course. She'd be happy for me to. So this will be continued. The few photos you're about to see, just what I had time to take before we left. I walked back up to the truck and got the phone. We washed the coins off in the bucket. I set them out on this rock to dry and go through them for her. The pile consisted of many German coins, some Dutch coins, some other countries I'm not too familiar with, quite a few British coins, Canadian, some Missouri tax tokens, and the only, other than the U.S. large cents, there was one 47 Wheatie. My best find, and I'm going to go ahead and count these as finds because I did find them with a metal detector, was a 1799 large cent. I'm pretty sure that was the year I remember seeing on it, and I didn't get a picture of that one. And what I thought at the time when I first came across it was a real. It ended up in the bucket pretty fast, but when we finally got it washed off, it turned out to be a 1680 British half crown. I had never seen one before. I didn't know what it was until I got home and was able to research it. Didn't have a very good signal where I was. So this winter we will continue the adventure. And as always, thanks for watching. Like and subscribe. The next plug is coming up. And see you didn't fall over